Hello. Have you ever wondered what's going to be happening in 2025? We hear lots about the word changes. Personally, I expect 2025 to be a year of massive change, even more than what we experienced during the COVID years. It's not going to matter if you're an American or a Canadian or from some other country. It's not going to matter if, in terms of your political philosophy, if you're on the left, if you're on the right, or somewhere in the middle. It's not going to matter what religion you are. Frankly, it's not going to matter who you are. You will be facing some kind of change. Some of this change could be great changes. Some of it could be disastrous changes. But you need to ask yourself, well, how are you going to respond to these changes? I look at it, you have two general approaches. First, you can either ignore it, be like the ostrich, stick your head in the sand, and hope that the change won't notice you and it'll just go right on by. Personally, I think that's a recipe for disaster. The second way of proceeding is by being proactive. Know that, yes, I'm going to get hit with changes. I don't know what the changes are going to be. I don't know if they're going to be good or bad, but I'm going to be proactive and respond to the changes the best way I can. Take advantage of either the opportunities that these changes present or addressing the threats that they may pose. That's where do you start? Like, how do you prepare for these changes? Well, I would suggest the first place to start is just looking at your business finances. It doesn't hurt to give your business a tune-up, just so that you can put your business on a more solid foundation, so that whenever this change takes place, your business is in a stronger position to withstand that change. It's like the three little pigs. Would you rather have a house built of straw or a house built of brick? If by doing a tune-up of your business, you can have more like a business, like a brick house. And when the winds of change comes along, your business will still keep standing. Yes, there will be changes, and you just have to respond to it. Hello, my name is Brian Ludwig. I've been supporting small business owners for the last 36 years now. I've been helping them deal with tax issues, financial issues, helping them grow their business, come up with new business strategies, look at new business ventures. I've seen a lot of different businesses come and go over the years. And this is where one of the most important aspects is make sure you have your cards in place. You got to have a strong foundation for your business. And this is where I wanted to give something back. And to most of you, you've signed up for a lead magnet or you've been in my world sometime in the past few years. I wanted to give this program back to you in appreciation for your support in the past. Small business owners, I believe, are the cornerstone of our community. I'm not a big fan of large corporations. They're impersonal. They don't tend to have your best interest or the community's best interest. Whereas small business owners, they're the ones that's there. When the community is in need of something, it's usually the small business owner who's buying the t-shirts or team uniforms for the local baseball team, or they're there helping someone in need. Business owners make up our community. And this is where in today's times, it seems like small business owners are being hit hard. So I came up with this 10 business tune-up course where basically I wanted to give something back. There was no commitments required. I just ask you to go through the material and apply it to your business so that you can learn insights into your own business. So let's get started. So the 10 Business Day Tune-Up course is designed to help you improve your cash flow, improve your profitability, and to improve your long-term business growth. And over the next 10 days, we're going to be focusing on the following topics. In week 1, starting with today, we're going to take a look at just understanding cash flow mindset. Exactly what do I mean by cash? Day 2, we'll take a look at the profitability aspect of your business. Day 3, we'll look at how you can boost your cash flow. Day 4, we'll take a look at some pricing strategies for you to consider. Day 5, we'll take a look at the importance of building a cash reserve for your operating expenses. Day 6, we'll discuss one of the ugliest expenses out there, your taxes, how you can minimize your tax bill for your business. Day 7, we'll take a look at how you can invest into different capital items or other businesses through your business. Day 8, we'll take a look at more at operations and how you can streamline your time, give yourself more free time to work on personal things instead of being chained to the business. Day 9, we'll take a look at strategies for your long-term business growth. And then finally, day 10, we'll take a wrap-up of what we've covered throughout the 10 days of training. So that's what I've got planned for you. Now, each day, you're going to receive a daily email from me. And this email will have a brief written text about what we're covering that day, along with a link to a video. These videos will be 10 to 15 minutes in length. Now, today's is going to be a little bit longer because of this introduction, and there's a couple of the 10-day sessions that might be 15 to 20 minutes, but most of them 10 to 15 minutes range. At the end of each video, I'm going to have a homework assignment for you, some action plan steps for you to initiate. The purpose of this is just to get you to start applying the things we were discussing to your own business. This is where you'll get the real benefit from this program, is start to take a different look at your own business finances. And to help you with this, I provided a spreadsheet that you can use as your electronic worksheet to go through the 10 days of exercises. And it'll be a good summary for you to refer to. And then as well, I've created a Facebook group. The link will be in the email. I'm going to be posting updates, and you'll have the opportunity to ask questions or comment or provide feedback of any kind. I would love to hear your feedback throughout as we do the program on what you like, what you don't like, where I can improve, what you thought was good. This is a program I want to keep offering permanently to individuals and as a free of charge item. I want to be able to give back to small business owners in some way. So that's what this program is going to be all about. Now, without any delay, I want to get into our day 1 content. We're going to talk about the cash flow mindset. Exactly what is cash flow? And one of the most common misconceptions I come across is many business owners think that the profit that their accountant tells them when they do their tax returns, that the net income, that's their cash flow. But it's not. It's completely different. Your net income is just 1/3 of the cash flow component, or roughly. For example, this is where your accountant could say to you, okay, you made $40,000 last year. You got to pay X number of taxes based on that $40,000. So you might say, oh, that's great. That means I must have $40,000 in my bank account. You go to your bank account and look, and it's negative $20,000. You might say, well, where's the money? I thought my accountant told me I made money. I don't seem to have it in my bank account or in my pockets. This is where you need to understand exactly what cash flow is. And I'm going to just bring up the cash flow statement. The cash flow statement is not the same as your net income. Your net income statement, you have income, you have expenses, and you have your net income. With a cash flow statement, that's where It's broken down into three main sections. You start off with your cash flow from operating activities. This is probably the closest to the net income statement. This represents most of your business income, your business expenses. There's some subtle differences because there are some income and expense items on your income statement that you don't pay cash for, like depreciation. But the cash operating section shows the cash coming in directly from the business operations. Now, but that's just 1/3 of your cash flow components. There's two other components you have to pay attention to. The next one is investing. This refers to mainly the purchasing of capital assets and the sale of capital assets, or if you buy investments or you buy another business. It's these type of capital investments that's considered as investment activities. Now, if you're in a stage where you're rapidly expanding, this could be a major cash drain for your business. Like if you say, I just bought a second location, you may have paid $300,000 for capital assets. That's a cash drain. If you made $40,000, say from your operating activities, and that's what your net income statement is telling you, but you went out and bought $300,000 of equipment, you have a $260,000 shortfall. How do you address that? Well, quite often that's where the third category comes in, the financing activities. This is typically your loan proceeds, the money that you borrow, the loan payments you make, and that's just the principal portion of your loan payments. The interest expense is usually under operating activities. It also includes money that you invest personally into the business, your owner's contribution, and also the amount of money you take out of your business, the owner's withdrawal. This can be a critical one. I don't know how often I've seen business owners taking more money out of their business for personal use than what the business is actually generating. Yes, they might do it for a year or two without noticing it, but what happens is whenever you're having negative cash flows, mainly because you're buying too much equipment or you got too much debt to pay off, it's usually your short-term debt that starts to build up. Your operating lines of credits balances get larger and stay large. You tapping into your credit card balances. And you get to the point where all of a sudden you get maxed out on this short-term credit. And that's when all chaos breaks loose. Basically, you hit the brick wall. You can no longer buy anything. You can't borrow anything more on a short-term basis. You're maxed out. And that's when the cash flow issues start to hit. And a lot of times it's too late to do anything by that time. You need to address this earlier. And that's why you need to focus on your cash flow at all times, good times and bad times, just to make sure there's no hidden issues. So this is where, to continue on, cash flow is just simply the money coming in and the money going out. That's your cash flow. Now, don't make the mistake. Say you sell something for $10,000 today. A lot of people think, oh, I got $10,000 to pay my bills. But not necessarily. What happens if that $10,000 sale is on credit? The customer owes you that $10,000. This is where you haven't got the money yet. It's a $10,000 receivable, and until that customer pays you, you have no cash. So again, that's where there's a difference between the income statement and the cash flow statement. This is where the income statement would likely report that income as $10,000 income, but on your cash flow, you haven't received it yet. So, in summary, as I mentioned, you need to focus on your looking at a cash flow statement and break it down into cash flow due to operations, which is probably 90 to 95% of your transactions, cash flow due to investments, which is mainly purchasing capital assets, and cash flow due to financing, which involves your loan payments and loan proceeds and your owner's contributions and withdrawals. So what are some of the common mistakes? Simply not even tracking your cash flow. And when I say tracking, I don't mean, okay, I've got $10,000 in my bank account, I'm doing good. No, that's a superficial way of monitoring your cash. Essentially, yes, you have money in the bank account, but you have no way of knowing how did that $10,000 get there. Was that because you actually had a surplus of $10,000 in operating activities? Or is it because you had a deficit of $20,000 in your operating activities and you borrowed $30,000 from your credit card to put that money into your bank account to offset it? There's a big difference between those two scenarios. You also got to be careful about spending money before it's received. Like, I don't know how often I see business owners go out, buy a piece of equipment, a major price tag, and worry about, okay, how do I pay for this afterwards? They just use their line of credit, they max it out, and then they try to go to a bank afterwards to get a loan. You should be doing it the other way around. Get the financing in place first, then go buy the equipment. And then not focusing on doing cash flow projections. This is where, again, cash is king for a business. Most small business startups, after 5 years, 80 to 90% of them are gone. And one of the number one reasons why is because of cash issues. This is where there's nothing worse than starting up a business, thinking you have the cash, and then halfway through your project, you run out of cash. I've seen businesses, small and big, make this mistake, and they had to shut it down for just a simple reason: they had no more cash. You don't want to run into this. This is why you need to do projections. Look at what your capital requirement needs are. Look at how much you need for personal use. When is that money going to start rolling in as income? You need to account for all of this to make sure that you have enough cash to keep your business going. So how do you improve your cash flow? First of all, start tracking it. Review it on a weekly basis or monthly at worst. This is where just keep into the habit of monitoring your cash, looking to see where it's going, where it's coming from. And if you start seeing cash flow gaps, start to identify them and take immediate action to address it. Don't wait until your operating loans and credit cards are maxed out. By that time, your options are limited. You're much better off addressing these issues before you have a big problem on your hands. So that wraps up my day one content. Now, in terms of homework, I told you I'm going to have homework for you. This is where I want you to review your last 3 months of bank statements and credit card statements. I want you to start identifying where is your cash coming in from and where is it going out. And to help you out with this, I'm going to provide you with a worksheet. And this worksheet is going to provide an example of how you can track your information. And I'm just going to go through this worksheet. There's 11 tabs. The intro page is just some general introduction. When you're inputting data, usually it's the cells highlighted yellow. That's where you need to enter data. Leave everything else alone. The first page is just an introductory page. Your name of your business, your name, what industry you're in. If you go to day one, this is where I have a spreadsheet here set up. It's set up for week. You can use it for monthly instead if you wanted to. But that's where, for each period, you would indicate how much cash came in. Like, say, for example, I had $20,000 of cash come in this month. And then break it out among the 3 categories. Now, for the majority of businesses, you're probably going to find that 95% of your transactions are due to operating activities. Your sales, your expenses, that's all operating. So I defaulted it so that it all goes to operating. Then what you just need to do is go through your bank statements and ask yourself, did I sell any capital assets this month? If you did, enter it here. Maybe we sold a vehicle and we got $5,000 for the old vehicle. Then ask yourself, did you borrow any money this year or this week or this month? In that case, you would indicate any new loan proceeds, any money that you personally contribute to the business. This all goes under financing. So, but if you notice, as soon as I put $5,000 under investing for selling off an old piece of equipment, it automatically adjusted the operating category. It just assumes anything that you put under investing and financing just comes out of the total cash inflow, and the rest is operating. So likewise, we go to the cash outflow section, and we'll say, I actually spent $25,000. So again, it defaults to $25,000 operating. But I'm going to say, well, in this case, I borrowed $10,000 for the truck, and I also spent $5,000 on myself personally. So this is where, or I had a $10,000 loan payment on the truck, and I had $5,000, and then I paid $20,000 for the truck. So if you take a look here, it all of a sudden gives us a picture. Okay, well, for this week, we actually had a negative cash flow of $5,000. Now, is that good or bad? Well, that's where you have to look at the breakdown of these three numbers. In the case of our operating, this is where, this doesn't quite look right. I'm going to have to put down 25,000. I'm going to say got 10,000 investing. This looks a little bit better. It's hard to just have a negative operating outflow. So $9,000 of operating expenses. We had $15,000. This gives us a breakdown of $6,000 net cash from operating, which that sounds reasonable. But when you look, this is where, from investing, we had $4,000 coming in. So we actually sold more equipment than what we bought. So that could be good. You could just be scaling back your equipment, selling off surplus equipment you no longer need. You might as well sell it. So that could be good. But then financing. Okay, yeah, we had $15,000. I believe that was $10,000 of loans, $5,000 personal. Yeah, this is where, okay, we don't have enough money to cover off our loan payments and our personal requirements. This is an issue. You can have this happen for a couple periods in a row, but if it keeps happening over and over and over again, you're going to drain your working capital. And sooner or later, you're going to run into an issue. So this is what I would like you to start doing. Just start monitoring your cash flow and ask yourself, where is my money coming from and where is it going to? And you might be surprised. Hopefully you don't come across any serious issues, but if there are underlying issues, it's best to know them now rather than when the bank is telling you no more money, no more credit. So that's the worksheet. You're going to be using it for all 10 days. And this is where I hope you find some good value out of this spreadsheet. Now, before I wrap up today's, I just want to announce I'm going to be throwing a couple, a major bonus your way. I decided at the end of this program, for those of you still around, I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to apply this even more to their business. I'm going to provide a no strings attached 1 hour business assessment call where we'll sit down together over Zoom and actually take a look at your results from this last 10 days, but also look at other issues within your business to look at where you should be focusing your efforts on today so that you can make your business even a more solid foundation going forward. Well, that wraps up for today's video. I probably spent enough time on it. So I look forward to seeing you in day 2. So tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on something called the 80-20 rule and looking at the concept of profitability. So thank you for attending day 1. If you have any questions, go to the Facebook group. The link is in the email. And I look forward to seeing you in day 2. Thank you. Bye.